Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. On August 3, 2025, Chinese actress Zhao Lusi, known for her glowing smile and innocent screen presence, went live without makeup, without filters, and without fear. What followed wasn't just a live stream, it was a revolution in the making. Today on Update X24H, we uncover the layers behind her raw confession, the war she's fighting behind closed doors, and why this moment might change the face of Chinese entertainment forever. When Zhao Lusi uttered the words, "I'm not crazy, thank you," it wasn't simply a rebuttal to online rumors. It was the raw, resounding voice of a woman who had been unheard for too long. In a world where celebrity perfection is manufactured, edited, and monetized, Zhao broke the script. She showed up stripped of glamour, without makeup, without filters, and most importantly, without fear. For millions watching, it was the first time they weren't seeing a character on screen, but the real person behind the spotlight, vulnerable, exhausted, and brave. Her declaration carried the weight of countless days spent in silence. Diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety, Zhao's decision to reveal the medical documentation was not a plea for sympathy. It was a demand for truth. In an industry that thrives on appearances and suppresses weakness, this was her protest. By placing her inner wounds on display, Zhao wasn't seeking attention. She was claiming dignity. She dared to say, "I am suffering, and I have the right to speak about it." What made this moment deeply human was her tone. There was no hysteria, no anger, no theatrics. Just a calm, steady voice trying to reclaim control of a life derailed by public scrutiny and corporate silence. The strength in her statement didn't come from defiance. It came from honesty. She didn't cry out to be saved. She simply asked to be heard. Zhao's courage reminds us that the strongest voices are often those born in silence. Her story resonates not because she's famous, but because she exposed a universal truth, that behind every smile, there can be sorrow, and behind every performance, a person who is simply trying to endure. Her live stream wasn't a meltdown. It was a moment of transformation. It was the first time in a long time that a star chose to be human, and in doing so gave countless others permission to be the same. For Zhao Lusi, the struggle was never just about public perception. It was about liberation from a system that quietly erodes the will to create. Her battle with Galaxy Cool Entertainment is not simply a contractual disagreement. It is the story of how a once bright career was slowly suffocated by silence, red tape, and the iron grip of control masked as management. Her contract, set to expire only in 2030, became less of a business agreement and more of a prison sentence, one that confined not just her work, but her voice, her choices, and her future. When she revealed that her calls and messages were ignored for months, it struck a deeper chord than any legal document ever could. This was not a simple breach of communication. It was emotional abandonment by the very entity that was meant to support and guide her. The people who once profited from her success no longer responded to her humanity. They responded only with legal threats and silence, turning professional disagreement into emotional warfare. What makes her story even more disturbing is the quiet violence of it all. No shouting, no scandal, just a slow disappearance. Her team was dismantled. Her studio account drained of over 2 million yuan. Her career put on pause. All while she battled severe depression and anxiety in the background. And yet, through it all, she never sought pity. She didn't demand sympathy or retribution. Instead, she offered to pay fairly and honorably for her freedom. She asked not for the doors to be thrown open, but simply to be heard across them. Zhao Lusi's courage exposes a truth long buried in the world of fame, that many contracts are not written in ink, but in fear. They strip away agency, trap young talent in cycles of obligation, and rob artists of the very spark that made them shine in the first place. Her live stream wasn't just a personal cry. It was a quiet rebellion against an industry that often confuses ownership with care. In reclaiming her story, Zhao has given others the courage to question theirs. And in asking for fairness, She has offered something rare in showbiz: grace in the face of injustice. In a world that often confuses noise with strength, Zhao Lusi's quiet resilience speaks volumes. After months of mental and emotional collapse, she emerged not with defiance or spectacle, but with a rare and powerful sense of calm. She called it the peace after the breakdown. A phrase so simple yet so profound. It is not the peace that comes from triumph, but the fragile stillness that arrives after surviving something unbearable. It is the breath taken after drowning, the still moment when a heart begins to heal without permission. Zhao did not proclaim a grand comeback. She did not offer promises of new projects or elaborate revenge. Instead, she spoke of opening a noodle shop if necessary, of living simply if art was no longer a safe space. Her message was not about ambition but survival. It was about dignity in the face of collapse. And in that modest declaration, she revealed the depth of her maturity, the strength it takes to rebuild without bitterness, to move forward without spectacle. Behind the scenes, whispers suggest that Zhao is quietly funding support systems for young actors facing similar struggles: mental health counseling, anonymous legal aid, and safe spaces to speak. Whether confirmed or not, it reflects a broader truth. Her healing is not just inward but outward. She has begun to extend her peace to others. What was once a private breakdown is slowly transforming into public service, not for recognition but because she knows what it feels like to be unheard. Her journey back is not paved with red carpets. It is quiet, cautious, and deeply human. It is not about reclaiming fame but reclaiming selfhood. In a culture that expects perfection, Zhao's decision to return with honesty and imperfection is revolutionary. She is not chasing applause. She is nurturing stability, rebuilding her voice, and defining success on her own terms. Zhao Lusi's quiet plan is not a headline, it's a heartbeat. And sometimes the softest sounds carry the loudest truths. Her path forward may not be fast or glamorous, but it is real. And for those who have ever had to start over, that is the most hopeful story of all. The aftermath of Zhao Lusi's livestream was not met with unanimous applause. As her words echoed across platforms, the reactions fractured, praise and skepticism rising in equal measure. For many, she became a symbol of courage, a rare voice daring to speak truth in an industry known for silence. They saw authenticity in her bare face, conviction in her calm voice, and strength in her vulnerability. To them, Zhao wasn't seeking validation. She was reclaiming her narrative in a world that had too often spoken over her. Yet others questioned her intentions. They pointed to inconsistencies, to carefully timed revelations, to what they believed was a performance under the guise of transparency. Critics asked whether her illness was real, whether her timing was strategic, whether this was simply a bid for sympathy. The divide became louder than the message. But underneath the noise, there was one truth few dared to say aloud. She turned off the donation button. She asked for no help, no money, no rescue. She never once asked for pity, only for understanding. And in doing so, she revealed the heart of her intention. Zhao Lusi wasn't trying to sway public opinion. She was trying to find peace. Her livestream wasn't a show, it was a release. A moment of honesty in a space usually reserved for performance. In the end, it doesn't matter whether every word was perfectly timed or entirely spontaneous. What matters is that she said them. In her stillness, she forced us to confront a discomfort we often ignore. That even in a world obsessed with image, truth still cuts through. And sometimes, the unspoken truth is the most powerful one of all. Zhao's livestream may be the spark that ignites change. Could public pressure force companies like Galaxy Cool to renegotiate contracts? Could her defiance inspire other celebrities to reclaim their voices? Her upcoming dramas, Let Me Shine and Lovers, hang in the balance. But perhaps more importantly, so does the future of artistic freedom in Asia. Across Korea, Japan, Thailand, France, and the USA, fans have launched petitions demanding fair contracts in showbiz. This isn't just Zhao's story anymore. It's ours too. She's not crazy. She's just finally free. What we witnessed on August 3rd wasn't a meltdown. It was a metamorphosis. Zhao Lusi didn't fall apart. She peeled away everything fake so we could finally see her real. In an era where curated perfection is currency, she chose truth. In a world where silence is safe, she chose her voice. If Zhao's story touched you, moved you, or opened your eyes, don't let it fade away. Movie Camera. Subscribe to UpToText 24H now for more powerful stories, raw truths, and behind-the-scenes courage from the stars you thought you knew. Let's stand with those who dare to speak. Let's lift up the voices that once trembled. And together, let's build a new chapter in global entertainment, where truth leads and humanity shines. Bell, hit the bell. Stay inspired. You're not alone, and neither is Zhao.